Hello, and welcome to the 3rd Hollywood Climate Summit.
An annual gathering and call to action for the entertainment industry to address the climate crisis.
We are the team and the community behind this year's event,
which takes place on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Tongva people, known as Los Angeles.
We pay respects to the members and elders of these communities, past and present, who remain stewards, caretakers, and advocates of these lands, river systems, waters, and islands, and from whom we have so much to learn.
Today, we're gathered here as a coalition of culture shapers, storytellers, and changemakers.
Hollywood is more than a place. It's a stakeholder in nearly every major global economy, as well as a thought leader with the power to shift culture worldwide.
We must use that power responsibly by shifting defeatist and apathetic narratives and uniting to create the most important story of our time.
The transition to a regenerative, just, and thriving world for all people, ecosystems, and generations.
As we face a time of urgent cultural shifts, we must be in community with one another, mobilize around solutions, and center and amplify the voices of those most environmentally impacted.
The inaugural summit was organized by Young Entertainment Activists,
AKA,
a coalition of young impact-driven professionals organizing for a more equitable, inclusive, and ethical media landscape on and off screen.
YA's first Hollywood Climate Summit was planned as a hyper-local in-person event and shifted online because of 2020.
What we never expected was that by making that shift, we would convene a global community of thousands, artists and writers, filmmakers, activists, musicians,
Scientists, students, executives, and my dad. So we have continued to build that every year since, and now it's become annual.
We would like to thank our programming and sustaining sponsors, as well as our coalition of hundreds of partners, for helping us expand our program offerings so significantly.
Each year, programming activates key transformations in storytelling, coalition building, sustainable production, and intergenerational mobilization.
This year's program focuses on storytelling, harnessing the power of stories, messages, and media content to influence cultural shifts, behavior change, and climate action.
With more people than ever feeling alarmed about the climate crisis but not knowing what to do, moving people to act is where narrative strategy and culture makers come in.
Typically, stories about climate change have been apocalyptic or about massive destruction and total environmental collapse. They are the stories of failure, apathy, and inevitability. How often do we see a future that we actually aspire to live in?
I mean, does anyone really want to live in Mad Max or Interstellar? Not knocking the movies, but seriously. The future we want requires new ways of telling stories. If we can imagine all that could go wrong, why can't we imagine all that could go right?
Audiences want to watch solution-oriented climate and social impact stories. We've seen this with related themes over the past year, like intergenerational trauma.
Turning Red, Encanto, and Everything Everywhere All at Once were massive successes. And not just because they were great stories, but also because they came from a place of authenticity, from people who had a message they wanted to share. And not to be understated, because folks have been organizing for more representation in front and behind screen for decades to push these stories towards the green light.
And speaking of organizing, embedded in the summit is the community and grassroots organizing strategies of YA. YA serves as an activist hub in Hollywood, connecting changemakers to each other and to local, state, and global leaders.
And YA is not just made up of the faces you see before you, but a network of thousands and collective effort to make intersectional activism prevalent and supported in Hollywood. We'd like to thank our incredible volunteers, founding board members, partners, and speakers who have supported this summit and YA's work from the beginning.
As you can see, YA events and initiatives are about taking action and empowering community.
Check out the Hollywood Climate Summit website's Take Action page to find action items and resources, including a climate storytelling toolkit.
Our coalition of partners and sponsors is behind some of the most groundbreaking and innovative climate solutions you can imagine.
This year, the Good Energy Playbook was launched with the support of dozens of partners, including the Center for Cultural Power. It's an interactive resource that you can find online and contains hundreds of pages worth of climate ideas and tips for screenwriters.
Or you can learn about ethical storytelling from the front lines of climate justice with Earth Justice's Climate Storytelling Project, LIT.
There's also open fellowships and opportunities for writers like the Climate Storytelling Fellowship, presented by the NRDC, the Blacklist, CAA Foundation, and the Redford Center.
And there's the Hollywood Climate Summit's Writing Climate Pitch Fest, as well as our Social Media Creators Challenge.
No matter what part of the entertainment industry you work in, we encourage you to implement and advocate for sustainability in whatever ways you can.
This can mean bringing your own reusable water bottle to set, going paperless with apps like Scriptation, or working with green production teams like Earth Angel and Real Green to adopt clean energy practices.
Resources like the Green Production Guide and PGA Green make it easier to promote waste diversion and reduce fossil fuel consumption on set.
We encourage you to stay involved throughout the year. Start by sharing your experiences from this summit on social media using the hashtag Hollywood Climate Summit or tagging us at Hollywood Climate Summit.
Also, don't forget to have fun. Connect with each other, connect with the attendees during our networking hours or whenever throughout the week, and schedule one-on-one meetings to deepen relationships. Joy and community are a really important way to make activism sustainable.
We're not saying this work will be easy or immediate, but that here at this summit, we can continue the work together.
Once again, thank you for joining us. Good luck to everyone working to shift the narrative.
Let's do it. We can do it together. Welcome.